sick.
I gotta kill it.
You gotta kill it.
Come on, spin. There we go. Now I can actually hit the go live button and show the video.
Oh.
Whoops. It happens.
Well, then we're both doing it then.
We're both doing it. I'm cool with this. I'm okay with this.
This I can live with, but this is it though. Cheers.
This is it. Cheers.
Are you gonna just bottoms up it?
No, I'm gonna. Because then I'll want another one. Welcome to How They Got Hacked, drinking edition.
There you go.
Well,
Good old number 7. That is smooth, especially after that beer.
Everything's smoother than the stale beer we just had.
Oh boy, it had stuff floating around in it, and it wasn't like unfiltered monk beer. It was like mold.
Yeah, I think that was mold floating around in it.
Yeah.
If we die before the end, this will be our last show.
just to let you
What
guys
episode
know,
number is this?
18.
18. It only took 18 episodes to kill us. We're
Only
fucking
18.
futile.
Yes.
You are.
Tom Lawrence.
I am Xavier D. Johnson.
Maurice Nash.
Hey, and this is How They Got Hacked, episode 18.
18.
Woo,
Yeah.
shit. We are excited. We are doing this on an unusual day because Tom has shit to do. It's the very best way that I could put it.
Gotta make some things happen tomorrow.
It's like Fridays are busy days, but the good news is that we're all flexible.
Yeah.
Our schedule. He lives here.
I live here.
Most like just hacking shit, and like I'm willing to bend my schedule. Right?
And there may or may not be other hackers on the other side of this wall.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
The allegedly shirt is coming soon. It has to happen.
I like that.
Multiple people have asked for it.
There you go.
And I think that allegedly will work
Red
out.
Team Clothing.
RedTeamClothing.com. XavierDJohnson.com. Just gonna start dropping ads.
Yep.
Smash that subscribe button. Smash that like button.
So I'll actually start with something I didn't have in the show notes. So it's controversial, but it's bad OPSEC. But it worked out good. Okay. We're happy about this. Some dipshits, and you've probably seen these dipshit kids painting the Nazi symbols on the ground.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what got them caught? They were clever because they covered their face because they knew there were security cameras at the school, but they didn't turn their cell phones off.
Idiot.
So the cell phones logged in automatically when they're there.
To the school.
To the school network that they were on. And with the school network set passwords so they know. And you register your MAC address. Most schools do this now.
Because they use IPsec.
Yep.
Not IPsec, NAC, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, MACsec.
NACsec. So they go, yeah, they got their masks on, but we know who they are.
Exactly.
Idiots.
Busted them.
Welcome
Well,
to
idiots in more than one way.
world.
We're happy they got busted. We're happy they didn't practice good OPSEC. Because we're less than happy that they were, being like little dipshits painting Nazi symbols on the ground with spray paint and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's unnecessary.
Yeah. It's one of those things people worry a lot about all that. And I'm like, the people running around with spray painting aren't the ones you really worry about. Most of the time, it's just a bunch of kids trying to, I'm going to get in the news.
People up, right.
Yeah.
I'm going to get
Trying to
in
get
the
some
news.
notoriety.
Or
rile
just
people
angry
up.
at dad,
Yeah, angry at dad. We've had the similar incidents around here with the kids because we have the private island. And the kids all are looking for an identity because when everything's just handed to you, sometimes you don't have an identity. It's twisted as that sounds, they're super fucking rich. I mean, brand new cars bought for them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they go look for some way to rebel.
By spray painting and catching a felony. So easy to catch a felony with this
No, I
rattle
don't
can.
think that's a felony.
What? It's probably misdemeanor.
Misdemeanor.
Yeah.
It's not a felony.
Depends on the level of vandalism you do, really. So we'll go with that. But nonetheless, that was the little rat I see now reading is just like bad ops that got him busted. But let's start with, pull up this. This was a good read. This is almost how they got hacked. So the title is With a Twist. Strong password V0.07 Ruby Gem hijacked. Now, what had happened here is really interesting. So one of the developers who has a dependency on this specific gem, strong_password, to generate passwords. And when he was building and looking at all the dependencies, he always goes through and checks to make sure that they're valid, they're real, that they're, what the change logs are to see if they're going to cause any problems with his product when he builds it. And he said, okay, here's a change from 06 to 07, but there's not any change log in it. So let's start doing differentials. Let's start looking at the code and figure out why did they do an incremental change? Why wasn't there a note on this? And they found a little loop right here that goes to paste bin and waiting for something to be dropped in a paste bin. That's where the payload dropper was. And the loop sets a random sleep timer. It also is only waiting to be deployed in production. So it sits there, and once the production flags and it's out of test mode are flipped, then it starts looking in paste bin to do this. This person kind of, panicked a little, contacted the person who was in charge of that particular project. That goes a step further, and he contacts and gets CC'd on the security team for the Ruby on Rails team. They have a security advisor, a CVE, and everything that went with it. Now, this was actually kind of cool because this didn't appear to get out in the wild. It wasn't like there was a bunch of pull requests that pulled this, and it didn't get deployed in code, and it was very quick. I think he said there's a 15-minute time span from noticing it to some of the changes. So there's not, reply within 25 minutes was even the reply. So they were on it. Yep. They were exactly it. And this is what they refer to as a supply chain attack, because they're trying to attack the upstream code. Now, there's also, we can go further over here on Y Combinator, and this is the person who actually maintains strong_password.
Yep.
And this is kind of a lesson learned. Currently, he is using things like 1Password and managing passwords properly, but they have right up here because basically he signed up and was a developer of this particular project and was a Ruby developer way before they had a 2FA system years ago and before he thought to use unique passwords. So this is one of those things like he's upgraded now and uses 1Password and unique passwords in every site, but 10, 15 years ago people weren't. So even though he switched it, he never changed his old passwords. He never went back and audited for 2FA to be turned on in that particular account. And because he knows he used that password probably in many places, they found an opportunistic way going, hey, look, I got the developer. They got in. They were quiet about what they did with it. They just made this minor change that if someone wasn't looking closely. But this is a couple benefits here. Open source and good, strong developer here who makes sure he checks the logs before he compiles. Before I start building my app on this, let me look at this. And this is something we're going to see more of all the time is people trying to slip things in. But as long as the code's open source, this is that much easier to do.
This is why supply chain attacks are, for one, awesome, two, fun. But three, this is why open source software is so amazing. Mm-hmm. Because, this dude was able to, look at the source and find the implant.
Yeah, if you were using precompiled binaries from some other program because you're some other developer, you wouldn't know. If something happened to the developer that developed that particular module that you downloaded and you had no source code access to it, no. Look, it went from version 6 to version 7. He must have improved it somehow.
I should update it.
Yeah, and maybe he didn't put the, maybe you stop and go, maybe he didn't put it in there because there's a CVE on it. He just fixed it. Maybe he'll update the notes later because that does happen sometimes when there's a CVE. We don't want to disclose what exactly is being changed to cover what CVE. We'll cover it later after everyone's updated, and then we can tell you. That is a methodology that some developers use, but this is important to think about these things, and hence the reason for open source code being so important. So I thought that was pretty cool. So
open source code is actually a defensive posture.
Yes, it is. When you can audit the code, it's a defensive posture.
Defensive.
Now, this would be the better defensive posture for this particular company. Maybe you've heard of Tesla.
Oh, my God. Whoops.
Yeah, that was a big mistake.
Yeah, it's a big mistake. So, a former Tesla employee admits uploading autopilot source code to his iCloud. Now, this is what's interesting. This is not an admission of guilt. This is an admission of, yeah, I put the source code in iCloud. But it sounds like the employee, if I understood this correctly, was a Chinese national and had previously done work for them. So, essentially, the employee themselves was a plant, it sounds like, and had come in there, taken the source code. Part of me wonders, though, if you, and I don't know, I'm not at the level of developing autonomous driving software, but GeoHot worked on that open source driving system that he had built. And it's something I think would be better, and maybe that's the way to flip it is make it open source and make it better. Because Elon has it locked in on his cars, you know what I mean? Like he builds a better, superior vehicle with the Tesla, so just having the source code, just having the AI, plus with the AI systems, the most important part of an AI system is the sets that it's programmed with, not just the code. The set that you use to build like a facial recognition database, the neural net that is built from designing and programming and training the AI, That's the gold. That's the money. It's not just the code. That's why there's so many, like, there's a lot of Python libraries that are open source that can build you really incredible AI, but the data set that is created from that AI, the machine learning, like the end result of that actually drives it, that's where all the value is, because the secret sauce, so to speak, with AI is in the training of the AI systems.
So what's interesting about this this story in particular is this Chinese company, Xiaoping Motors, or X Motor, or Xpeng, I guess is what they're going by. Xpeng Motors here. This is the second engineer that's gone to this company and has sold data that's related to autonomous vehicles, right? Which is really, really interesting to me, right? Like, this seems aggressive. Like, at what point does Trump get on Twitter and go, "Yeah, Chinese nationals stealing our secrets"?
Well, he won't say that if it's Elon. They're not friends, so.
Have his secrets, huh? It's just weird. The other case was the Apple case.
Yeah.
Same company.
Same
Chinese
company.
national. Like, it's an interesting kind of trend, so to speak. That's
and this whole concept isn't new either, because they had a few years ago, you can dig up a crane company, I believe they're out of Chicago, and someone was stealing the source code. Now, they were onto him. That's the best part. They fed him bad code. They poisoned the well. So that was a kind of interesting story, because they did that on purpose, because that way they could see and confirm it, because they would see the bad design and bad information being implemented in the Chinese knockoff version of what they were creating. And they could go, we see they're having these problems with it because we implanted the problems, and they don't understand the code. They're getting the code, the poisoned bad apple code from our guy here. And it's just old spy move techniques of misinformation. So if you think someone, if you have 3 different people and you're like, I don't know which one of them's feeding the code, feed them 3 different pieces of code, and you'll find your suspect. If it turns up on the enemy's site, the one bad piece that you fed to which guy, you'll be able to reverse engineer that. There's a lot you can learn from old spy game movies.
This is an interesting. The more and more I've read this article, the more and more interested I've become, because like, where's the line, right? Like, was there any company policy? Was there anything written down that says that he couldn't use iCloud to back up his?
Which is that was going to be my question. Like,
right? Like, maybe he was legitimately backing up his data. I think what's sketchy is he started to do these activities around the time that he accepted a offer letter from the competitor.
Yeah.
And I think that makes it much more icky. But
sure.
I don't know. It's like if it wasn't written and explicitly told to him that to not use his own personal cloud storage, because maybe he doesn't have any other cloud storage.
And that's why this case, like you said, it's going to be an interesting aspect of the case, is starting to understand when we start unraveling those legal details. What was he culpable for? What was his employee responsibilities? Are they sticking it to him? And this is procedure. Allegedly, and this is a little bit of hyperbole, but there have been several Tesla engineers outside of this person who have left in the last couple months. And we don't know why. We don't know if they were cleaning house. You don't always know. We just know that they were there and they were not there. And a couple of them went to some other companies. We don't know the why. So is it because Tesla's cleaning house and getting rid of these people? Were they not performing well? Because that's actually, something after reading Elon Musk's book, I learned he fires people, like, a lot. One of the keys to the way Tesla and why they are so ahead on things is people who say they can't get fired. It's and he finds highly capable people to replace them. So he does, there's an old business model. I believe it was GE did this in some of their engineering teams in the 80s, and it was really a cutthroat system. But no matter what, you had to fire the bottom 10% of your company. I don't care if they were.
GE did that.
Yep. I don't care how good they were. The rule was 10% of your company got cut every year. 10% didn't make it. Just. And it's a risky business model. It's very cutthroat, because you could be doing everything perfect to the book and still get screwed over by the company. Yep. I don't know that they're that bad inside of Tesla, but I've heard stories like he pushes, and I'm just reading a book, he pushes people hard. But the result is the result. I mean, you work there because you want to be part of something like that. So I always look at, you make the choice to work there, because they're not actually the highest paying engineering people. We actually have a guy here in Detroit that worked briefly there, a mutual friend. I can't remember his name right now. But he said that too. It's like you work there to learn and work there, but maybe not because you want the best pay. Matter of fact, he said they don't give you a car. He's like, I thought at least, because he was working on the Gigafactory project.
They can't give him a car.
Yeah, and he said, and they were paying him really well, relatively, but he said he was still worth more somewhere else. But then again, after he leaves Tesla, that experience gets you in the door for a lot of job offers. Exactly. Oh, you worked on the Gigafactory? we got an idea for you.
Exactly.
You know, and it's, my wife did the same thing. She worked for Quicken Loans, and everyone knows they burn you out. But she had 4 job offers she quit and had 4 job offers in 2 weeks.
Wow.
So,
There you go.
because they know you went through that training. Interesting to think about. That's going to be a fun story to watch how it breaks down.
It is.
I think he's gonna get in trouble.
You think you're in trouble?
I mean, he does work for
mean,
the
like,
competing company now, right?
What trouble is there to be had? You talking about getting sued? I mean, it's not like he's gonna go to jail for this. Like the worst thing that can happen to him is he gets sued.
Corporate espionage is
This
sold to
is-
external nationals. That can be
This is
FBI
corporate
investigated.
espionage.
Yeah,
It is.
the
We'll see.
FBI investigated. So
We'll see.
yeah, it's gonna be like I said, it's a case to watch. I think Xavier brought this one up. Hardwire your keyboard.
Yeah, I'm actually vulnerable to this. I'm like
I want to point something out real
at
quick
work,
before we get
fucking
here.
everywhere, at home.
All right, this is the one we're using.
This is the exact one that's vulnerable. And
Apparently.
all of the ones that have the unified orange star on it, if you have Logitech keyboards from the last fucking 15 years,
Or on your table in front of us.
they're done. It's done. It's over. They're vulnerable to quote unquote extensive cyber attacks.
Yeah.
It's
So
bad.
several Logitech keyboards, mice, and wireless presenters suffer from a security vulnerability. Not only can the attackers eavesdrop on the keystrokes, they can infect the host system. That's an interesting aspect because it's a little bit more extensive than just there. So it's kind of the little orange starter, which tons of them do. I think pretty much all of them. There's probably not a lot of them that don't. So it's like the majority of their products. Wow, I wonder. Let's flip through.
all of the good stuff. The one with the big ball, the one I like the most, yeah, that one.
Yeah, even. Wow.
Stuff
Yeah.
out. Dude,
Yeah.
So many companies run this equipment.
So many places run it.
So
This-
many places. So now you can just sit, outside of the glass door and inject keystrokes.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any fix for it because you can't push firmware updates to these, right? I didn't.
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
It's gonna be a replace kind of thing.
Definitely.
Okay, they do plan to patch a couple of them,
How?
but this is
Patch a key.
there's some firmware you can update because if you're using it. But I never used because I run Linux. I never used the Logitech. Yeah.
Firmware?
Well, they can push firmware back because they have the Logitech software you can load.
Yeah.
But I don't load it,
Too much.
and most people won't, update it, so it's not.
You gotta
So
see
now
what
this
I'm
is your
using.
new attack methodology. Now you don't have to buy a rubber ducky. You don't have to buy a rubber ducky anymore. You just have to replace that cool keyboard that you made a mistake and spilled coffee on with a known vulnerable keyboard and sit in a corner and wait for the fun. Why does your screen keep turning 180 degrees? I have no idea.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, but this is why places like the NSA you're in a Faraday cage if you go into federal buildings. They do not allow they use double pane glass to stop people from eavesdropping from putting any type of taps on there. That stops the sound vibrations from going through, so they can't eavesdrop. Second, they're all coded, and they're coded to keep RF signals from leaving or coming in, vice versa. So you're essentially in Faraday cages because even though they do use hardware keyboards in a lot of government facilities, I imagine all of the ones I've ever seen. So we did some work in the Fed once, one of the Federal Reserve buildings.
Okay.
We sold a printer there,
Nice.
and they wanted our phone and everything, set it all aside. They check it at the door, which is that's fine. I was cool with that. So. But everything's really locked down, and it makes sense. I mean, they're the Federal Reserve,
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I don't think the mice are less of an attack. Because figuring out a mouse attack would be a little bit harder. But keyboards for sure, because you're at the keyboard level, you're typing. You know what I mean? The mouse trying to figure out where to click the mouse to do something
I mean, but
when
they
you
do
can't
have
see the screen.
simulated mouse attacks.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
Now, I've seen someone kind of mention this worried about bad code in auto driving cars. This is something that I thought about as well. Is I kind of think we need the automated cars to be open source because I kind of want to know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I want to know who gets preserved in the accident. There's going to be an ethical question comes up with self-driving cars. So the ethical question is this:
Who gets
There's
preserved?
who gets preserved? The car can't stop in time. The options are drive car off cliff or run over a bunch of
woman.
people. Yeah, who going off
That's-
a cliff seems bad for me if I'm in the self-driving
That's a
car.
great
But the
question.
self-driving car doesn't think too bad about it because he wants to preserve human life.
If it
Unless it's on that iRobot shit, and then it's just like whatever.
Yeah, but if
run
it,
over all the humans.
if it doesn't make the assessment, would I kill less humans? There's only one human in the car, but there's 4 humans in the road. Now the car has to make a decision. I want to know which way it's going to go because it kind of makes you think a little
It's
different.
probably going to go towards not harming the car. In
Well,
truck driving
well-
school, they tell us
Yeah, so
if something mess up in front of you, drive through it. Do
Yeah.
not stop. Do not hit the brakes. Do not try to correct them. Just go through them.
well, does the car self-preserve too? So there's another factor. Does that take it to like
That's
the
scary as shit, by the way, guys. So, like, watch out on the road for big trucks. You have a reason now. They're trained to drive through you. You
Yeah.
know, don't break down because blood and them run you over. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, any of this code's got to be, there's a, and I think we brought it up, and our one legal friend had talked about this before. The right to face your accuser is a part of the Fifth Amendment in the United States, and the right to face your accuser can apply to software, and they've ruled that before. So I want to know if software was used to convict me, the code is used to convict me in some way, that be a breathalyzer, that be any type of system, I should be able to audit the source code to that. So I think some of the same things apply. There's a lot of things about that, but that's,
So if that's the case, then my parking ticket that I just got, because they're using that automated scanner
you should
downtown,
be able to view the
I need
source
to be able
code.
to see the source code.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
have the right to face your accuser.
Yeah.
I need my accuser to be faced.
Yes,
Yes.
I asked, and that's a request you can make in court, the right to face your accuser. And
They gonna bring the car in?
I don't know.
I got something for that car.
Yeah. Xavier needs a source code to that.
All you gotta do is just shoot the laser at the sensor. Done. LiDAR finished. What LiDAR?
What LiDAR?
Just a thing with a hole on the sensor? Really? This one? Nah, it couldn't have been my truck.
Fun stuff, fun stuff.
Well, most of the time they'll bully you. I tried to face my accuser with a speed gun.
Ooh.
They just dismiss me. They just no, you can't see the code or the gun or even the speed you're at. We just accuse you of this, and you have to pay the ticket by.
I just had to pay a ticket for New York. My daughter was driving. They got a picture of it.
Oh yeah.
They sent me the picture. I'm like, I can see. I got stickers. She's driving my car, and I got stickers on it. And I'm like, yeah, that's my car. Ain't no doubt. I'm just gonna pay it. It was $1. So it was a toll ticket. They actually just mail you the tolls now.
It's only $1?
Yeah, this is toll. It's not like ticket,
Oh.
but it was kind of novel. Anyways, Mozilla aren't the villains of the internet. Now, if you didn't hear about
Mozilla's
this,
the best.
well, no, actually, this is an update to my original article that I started with. But after today, they announced. I think it was today or yesterday, they announced it back. So the Internet for Cyber Villainy. Some people in England, the UK Internet Service Provider Association, had decided that that Mozilla was the devil.
The ISPA.
The ISPA. They said they were the devil, and this created a big outcry of people. Now, what did Mozilla do to deserve this? Well, it turns out hiding your DNS, because with the announcement of them going it's been in aware for a while in beta, and I guess it's made a new iteration, or it's the DNS sec. So it's DNS sec over DNS over HTTPS, DOH. And what this does, normally the browser uses your operating system's DNS, and with your operating system's DNS, it will use whatever has been told to it versus DNS. Upstream.
Yeah.
Versus DOH lets the browser bypass whatever your operating system, and that could include filtering software or anything that's on your OS, and then go right to a DNS server
That's
over
good.
HTTPS. That's a great thing.
That's great.
It's actually one of the things a lot of times you use a VPN for because you're worried about DNS hijacking.
Right.
This eliminates that DNS hijacking factor. And this, of course, set them off because clearly,
do that.
clearly the ISPA cares a lot about DNS. You got to remember, though, and our UK friends know, this is the same group of people that wanted you to register with your driver's license to watch porn. They wanted everyone to get a permit to watch porn.
Yes.
Yes. You remember that story from a few years ago?
Yeah.
It didn't go anywhere because you could think about the impractical nature of registering to have to watch porn.
Every time.
You should just assume if I have a license that I'm watching porn. Done.
Yeah.
Finished. Save you a lot of paperwork.
See a lot of paperwork. I plan to watch the porn.
Done.
So, it's a short article, but it's kind of goes in there. And I've done a video before on how this works, and Cloudflare currently supports it. So does a couple other places. And by the way, you can use this with pfSense. pfSense uses Bind, and Bind has this support natively, so you can point your browser at your local DNS and let it handle it as well. So I thought that was kind of a good side note on that. I don't know that it eliminates the need to a VPN, but it definitely encrypting your DNS so your ISP doesn't see it. That's a lot of times why people want a VPN, is to hide that piece of information, because all the traffic on most sites is already encrypted with HTTPS. So add that extra layer and away you go. So pretty neat. Glad they changed it. Oh, let's see, what else do we have here?
So apparently we're making Windows notification sounds. I think it's Screen Connect.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was wondering that too. I seen Screen Connect on. I don't know why.
Yeah.
So,
That's the Russian hacker saying hi to us.
Yeah, my computer.
Russia.
What I think it happened is it said disconnected because it says computer being controlled by Tom.
Ooh.
Because I left Screen Connect open
Which
on
Tom?
my computer. Well, there's a Tom in there that's controlling it. Yeah.
Might be the other Tom, the doppelganger Tom.
So
Which Tom are you looking for, officer?
yeah, which Tom?
We're all named Tom.
We're all
What's
named
your name?
Tom.
Tom.
All right, this one I'm going to have to start with the reading, and then I'll show you this, because this is fileless attacking. So advanced persistence without a file, which makes it really hard for things like EDR systems to find this, and it's really hard to find your indicators of compromise because they're not doing a file. Now, it still started with a phishing attack, but it doesn't start with it doesn't end with installing files. So I had to carefully write and read this. The DLL will load a second DLL in memory that reflectively loads a third one, designed to decrypt and inject another DLL into user init. The fourth DLL acts as a proxy, which will reflectively load a fifth DLL into memory and start the process hollowing. Now, let's just...
And it's only going to get worse from here. Because I remember when fileless was the new hotness, and it's only going to get much, much more complex and harder to detect. Go for it.
So here's the thing. Microsoft's ATP system. I actually got to watch this at the Build conference a while back, and I was impressed. I was actually going, wow, Microsoft's taking security seriously. They have amazing insight, being that they're Microsoft. You got to think about how all their antivirus programs are written. They reverse engineer hooks into the system in order to get that ring zero level watching what's going on in the system. This is why some of the Windows 10 updates break antivirus and cause some of the havoc that they've caused. So Microsoft got into the game and said, we're going to do this whole advanced persistent threat thing, and we're going to have this whole watch it. They can watch it from a dashboard that runs, I believe it all runs in Azure in there, and you then attach it to all your systems. But they have an entire detailed breakdown of the complexity of this. Now, it all started with an email link, so it is a phishing, open a zip, get the link, but it's not installing, and that's how it was evading a lot of things. But because Microsoft's insight that their ATP system has into the way this works, they were able to create visibility into all these steps. And I gotta admit, this is some heavy stuff. This is really complicated. So I was impressed with it. I'll leave a link to how it works, but that's just a wow to see this level of spear phishing link, details of how it was done, and how they bypassed everything on there. But they didn't bypass this particular part, which was the Microsoft ATP. I imagine a few other things that catch it, but now that we're aware of it, these more antivirus companies are going to know what to look for. But Microsoft
literally only reason Microsoft knew is because it was unusual usage of XSL.
Yeah.
So like they didn't even know that anything was wrong. They just knew that something wasn't right.
Yeah.
They're just willing to alert you like, yo, something weird's happening with your computer out of everybody else's computer right now. You're just doing this extra stuff. Do you know about this?
Yeah, this is...
DLL injection. Fileless is, man, oh my God, it's so amazing.
That is some next level, man.
It's
this is some...
amazing.
It takes a really clever... This is not script kiddie stuff here. This is the professionals.
Yeah, malware authors are like so amazing. Like I know a couple, and I've written my own, and it is no joke. It's not for... You hear the written, right? Like, I'm not writing because I'm done. I don't have a use for it anymore. It's just not even worth it. It's a lot. It's a lot. And it's cat and mouse. Like, what worked today doesn't work tomorrow. What works tomorrow won't work next year. For sure.
These attacks really ramping up.
Yeah.
People just coming up with new ways. I mean, I'm still shocked from last week.
Well, you got people who are like learning how to code and learning, systems at a pace, like, right? Like they're sitting around learning this stuff at such a pace, and they're applying it directly to making money. And I'm not talking about going to work.
Yeah.
Right. So your fifth piece of software that you write is going to be a pretty cool piece of software. Your fifth piece of malware is going to be potent. Yeah. Right? Like, if you learned about DLL reflection and injection and fileless droppers and all that shit back in 2014 when it was really hot, when it was first, I won't say it's when it was first coming out, but, like, when it was on fire, how many years has it been? 5 years later, you're going to have one that's doing a DLL, that does a DLL, that decrypts a DLL, that injects a DLL, that proxies a DLL, because that's what you would write code to do. Right?
It's like Russian nesting dolls here, man.
It's amazing. DLL Inception, CMAX says.
And I think this is where you get the internet effect, and it's both aspirational and inspirational sometimes to watch people do some of these attacks and things like that. And these forums, and this goes along from everything from YouTube to just some of the really good forums out there where there's a lot of people talking about this stuff. It ramps up the learning faster, and I think it's good because it's ramping up on both sides. It's not one-sided. We do see more malware out there, but we also see people getting better. We're sitting here because we want to get people more aware. Yes. We want to see people better at defensive security. We want to see better blue teams out there, and we want to raise awareness of these type of threats. And this is the same thing. We're using the internet to amplify our voice to, how many watchers do we have right now?
50,
but 50 people. And then they're going to share it with at least a few other people. So the net effect of this is pretty exponential. We know some of these people are coming from all over the place. So they're going to spread back to their local communities, just like we come back to DC 313 and have our local things we do. This is...
Speaking of local...
Oh.
Somebody came...
Oh, yeah.
I don't know exactly who.
He didn't drop a name. He just dropped the 20s.
But they came and dropped off crisp, what seems to be legitimate.
Yeah, I didn't check that part.
Seems to be legitimate, all right? Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, we like cash. It's hard to tax this stuff. Now I have to claim it as taxable income since I've declared it.
Oh.
But, yeah, cash is always fun. So thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
That's our first cash we got dropped down here. So.
Like, I'm going to put this, like, on a... I wish you would have signed it. If other people want to send us signed money, we'll frame it.
Oh, yeah, you can just... Well, I know you're not supposed to, but you could, our address is on the website, right? LawrenceSystems.com. That's the address. That's how Mo got his stickers. If you send packages
to do
here,
a lot of stuff.
Put them attention to how they get hacked.
You're not supposed to ride a bike without registration.
Yeah.
That's a bicycle. I mean, like
a... Dearborn and Detroit both have bicycle registrations.
Yeah. Detroit does too?
Yeah, Dearborn and Detroit. The only two cities in Michigan that have it.
Icky.
All right. I think this is the last story I have here.
What you got?
New
Oh, yeah. This is my first time hearing. So you were just telling me about this before we came on air.
Yeah.
My first time hearing about it. Highly interested in ransomwares and hadn't heard about this one, so I'm wanting to hear more.
Yeah.
So this hits the QNAP boxes.
Hold on, wait. Is this Tor? See, I would immediately not even, like, I don't allow Tor on my network. I'm safe. Immediately safe. You want to practice defense in depth? The first layer at the edge, just cut Tor off. There's no good reason for Tor. If you want to go do Tor stuff, go stand up a DigitalOcean server and install the Tor stuff there. But I'm listening. Go for it.
Yep. No problem. So basically, this is hitting network-attached storage devices, specifically QNAPs. And I've seen it also referred to as the QNAP Crypt, is another name for the same software. And it goes through, QNAPs are pretty reasonably powerful devices that have a Linux-based operating system at their base level, and it takes advantage of that and runs all the scripts, encrypts everything for you. Encrypts everything for you, locks it all down real nice and tight because you didn't, and then it has a nice little right here. This is the part I kind of like. Well, there's two things I like. One is they got a little chat. They got live chat. They got customer service waiting and ready for you. I bet they will respond faster than the 9 days it took Verizon to respond to a ticket. 9 days ago, we opened a ticket in Verizon. Today, we got a response, which
This is what I meant by attacks are ramping up. Not just the technical side, but
like they got
they
customer service
box.
teams.
The people last week hit up the insurance company.
They're like saving you stuff. They call the insurance company for you and start the negotiations so you don't have to break the bad news to them.
This is not baby's first malware. Yeah, we're just going to say that. These dudes are professional.
Oh, this is...
This is nation state shit. This is like, you're literally talking to someone in the Kremlin.
Yeah.
Like the IP address that you're communicating
And
with.
like Tom said, I'm
is
sure
apparently
they'll
Russian.
respond immediately.
They want that money.
Yeah,
Immediately.
they will
that
respond
money.
way faster than Verizon, who you pay more money than the ransomware to for crappy service.
Man,
It
I
doesn't
love,
respond.
I love Verizon personally. Verizon has been treating me well.
You never had to deal with their SIP team.
Nope. Nope.
9 days to reply on a ticket. Now, what makes this a little bit more fun is they look at the language files. And they don't want to hurt their fellows in the Ukraine and wherever. In fact, they have a couple listed languages in Russian.
Russian nationals.
Yeah, they will not, if they find that in your language file, they will not do that.
They'll say,
They
"Thank
won't.
you, come
They'll
again."
skip it. Yeah, they'll skip
They'll
encrypting
pa-
it for you.
They'll patch your computer for you.
They're like, oh, we better
Then
patch
not
this
encrypt
guy.
it so that other people won't own it. Wow. So am I getting this right? They come in, they patch. Excuse me. They come in, they patch the machine so that it's no longer vulnerable in the same way. Then they ransom. But if you have a Russian language file,
It can detect.
it
Yeah.
decides, oh wait, I'm just gonna leave you patched and get out of here.
Yeah.
So that like the crazy Americans can't come and ransom
Yeah.
you.
No Russians.
Wow. Whoa. Hold on now.
Exactly.
Hold on now. Hey, listen, that's a deep cut. If you know about no Russians, I don't even know if it's on YouTube anymore with the climate of YouTube, but if you
It's still there.
you punch in no Russian on YouTube, it's a Call of Duty mission. It's gruesome.
Oh yeah.
It's gruesome. You know, like they can't make that today.
It's like 7 minutes of terror.
They cannot make that today. They literally
It's just
would.
senseless terror.
It's mass
7
murder.
minutes.
Yeah.
But speaking
No
of this
Russian.
article, what we've been talking about since day one, I do like this line. The devices appear to be compromised by brute forcing weak credentials and exploiting known vulnerabilities.
And this comes down to, this question came up on my forum the other day, and a person, at first I knew I see the progressive thing sometimes. They were posting on my YouTube channel, adding comments. I need to know how to get my files accessible when I'm outside of my network. I replied, get a VPN. That was an unsatisfied answer. So then they typed a longer question of this, and then they reached out to me in more than one way, and I've just helped tell them they don't want to put a VPN. And I'm like, no, don't expose it. I'm not even going to tell you how.
Right.
Like, it's a bad idea. It's port forwarding, but I'm not telling you how to forward the ports to get, things like SMB and that open to the internet, because it's just a horrible idea to do. And this is what happens to people who do that. That's why I said put a VPN in. And their answer is, well, I don't want to have a VPN router. I'm like, well, I'm sorry.
Okay, so zero tier it and install a client in
Yeah.
TTYL.
Yeah, it's not that hard to do. So there's options here. Matter of fact,
And I'm pretty sure there's some crafty way that you can do it with like PFSense, where you could zero tier your PFSense and have some subnet or some part of your network VPN aware and still have
FreeNAS, for example. FreeNAS, and I know Synology, and I'm almost positive QNAP as well, all support zero tier. So you can just do it that way. Like, that's an option. You could just tie it to that to get your files. And zero tier is solid, it's secure, it's not super fast in some circumstances, but you need to
dealing
access
with a
to your...
free VPN that's private.
Yeah, free VPN is private, and it's way better than having it encrypted, which is way more expensive. So, certainly much more of a cost. And anyways, whenever you're trying to access your files, especially if they're larger files, especially the person that contacted me, they wanted to access their 4K video editing files outside there. I'm like, you better have a really fast pipe to do that. So I said, I can't do that now, and with a couple hundred meg connection.
Exactly.
I have a good solid VPN and everything, and that's a lot to move through the pipe. But don't expose these things to the internet. You're going to ask for trouble. You're going to find encryption. Now, I did not add any of the many cities that are always getting ransomware. It just wasn't worth mentioning. It's like, at this point, it's become the running joke. We get it. Haha, another city. Last week, only because of the twist of them contacting the insurer first, like streamlined the process, we were just kind of face palming going, that's smooth. But
Smooth
outside
criminal.
of that,
Smooth criminal, you
outside
smooth.
of that, yeah, we don't need to bring up any more cities.
It's over, man. Like now it's normal.
It's normal.
We've sensationalized it. Yeah. Whoever's doing this is like watching the show, like, ooh, look, they're going to talk about it this week.
Yeah.
So if there's a huge ransomware next week that we just have to talk about, you know why,
And one of my tech friends, I was on Monday, I was on the IT&D show, and I got in an argument with Bob. And if you ever listen to the IT&D show, Bob likes to argue with people. That's kind of part of the show.
That's his thing.
He's loud. And but Bob's like, quit quit, you assholes are sensationalizing. And then
Bob
you're
did
making.
say that.
Yeah, he did. Well, he did say that, and he's like, you assholes are the reason, like, you're getting the ransomware people excited. Now they know to attack the cities. I said, Bob, you got it wrong.
Totally wrong.
Because I look over at Dave. Dave's the geek. Dave's the hacker. I was like, come on, Dave. I said, tell me how every hacker gets caught. He can't shut up. And Dave's like, pretty much. Like every hacker story starts with they want to brag about what they did.
Shut down.
Yeah. So they already know. The hacker community knows.
Default credit.
Bad default creds.
Mixtape coming soon.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot going on.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Man.
So, in the short of it, though, my thing is the hackers already know. The ransomware people that work in the circles, that are in the forums on the dark web, they know.
We
They're
do it day zero.
Hit all those Florida places, man. They pay out quick.
Immediately.
Anywhere
in the South is green.
Yeah. It's green down there. But the opposite effect.
Georgia.
There
Oh,
you
man. Gotta be careful.
Guy in the back.
Yep.
Louisiana.
Because if these places start getting hit, man, we get them boots the doors, baby. They flash banging. They blinding kids with flash bangs.
Yeah, it's gonna be terrible. They gonna just come in and smash the plates for no reason.
Exactly.
Because I have a services company, and we've talked about this even on my YouTube channel. We've had people reach out to us. I don't want to be Florida. I love when someone starts the conversation out like that. Oh, good. So the awareness campaign worked. Like they're a city, one of them was a city, and we installed a system and set up proper ZFS snapshots with FreeNAS and those strategy. We've reached out to a couple other businesses that kind of said the same thing. We see a risk of this. We want to know assessment. There's posts in my forums about this where we walk through some of the assessments of like strategies to do this. I've got a whole video on strategies to have files with snapshots so you only lose so much. Like it's raising awareness so people who never thought much about it are now thinking about it. So to me, it's a good thing we talk about them, but it gets boring talking about them every week. Like I think everybody knows it needs to know now.
But now some cities are like, we should start listening to those guys before we're next, and they are making fun of us on their show. Yes. Let me see, what else do we have for today?
That is all I have.
That's it.
I am at the end of it. Do we have a movie recommendation? It seems like I really had something in my head, and it has now since fallen out of my head because we didn't do it last week, and I had one last week, and we didn't talk about it much because we weren't doing live.
Oh,
I don't think we ever talked about this.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, did we talk about, not to cut you off, but did we talk about the, I think someone asked about it. I told them we would.
So we're in the city of Detroit.
The Zoom. 0 day.
Oh, the Zoom one. Yeah, that was some bullshit.
Yeah. Zoom is already, it's really bad. It's been bad since the beginning. I knew Zoom was bad the moment that I uninstalled it and reinstalled it. I was like,
Why is this all a web server on Mac? And it doesn't do this on Windows.
no, it doesn't do it on Windows, and I've only used it on Mac. And that was interesting.
Yeah, it's weird.
It doesn't remove all the files when you delete it. Like, I didn't know exactly why. For one, I need it for work, but I just didn't understand the architecture of the software. And, at some point, you're like, it's not my machine, so, I'm just moving on, because I don't need Zoom on my machine at all. But, this thing is
it was basically a bad design. So the Zoom had the it was a small web server, wasn't it, that ran on localhost. So it's not that it itself was vulnerable, but it created a vulnerability option on your Mac. Now, it would also take another program to know that Zoom is installed and look for it, but obviously you don't want to create any cases like that on your system. So it's still worth patching. It's been removed. Matter of fact, Apple banned them first, if I'm not mistaken, and then Zoom says, oh, I guess we won't do it this shady way, so they updated the software. And it all started with a vulnerability disclosure of someone who tried to get them to listen, and they wouldn't listen after 90 days because they didn't see it as a problem. They seen it as a feature because it was part of the auto-update mechanism, I think is what they said. It was just mind-numbingly like a circle of stupid.
That's not a bug. That's an undocumented feature.
Very undocumented feature of the way they were doing it. Bad methodology. So that was kind of messy. It was confusing because it's not like there was a hack and it was a widespread people getting attacked. It was like, why the hell are you doing it this way? You are going to open people up to be attacked. So that was how that was.
Rosterman asked about OSCP or Hack the Box. Well, we're always doing Hack the Box. You can always catch us there. OSCP.
Is that recent?
2 people. One person didn't make it. The other person, it wasn't their fault, and so they're retaking it. So we will have more on that after the retake?
Oh, in speaking of honeypots, I haven't forgot that one so far. Of all the ones I tried, MHN, that one's really nice. I got that stood up. It's a little confusing. I need to make a better deployment guide. Their deployment guide's a little bit confusing. MHN, let me pull it up real
I
quick.
need to set one up so I can see how to navigate it.
I'll pull this up because it's really interesting. And one of the people from Threat, because I set this up, and they reached out to me. Let me just pull this up. This is a really cool one. So, Modern Honey Network is run by ThreatStream, and the confusing part was exactly how their Honey Map web app, REST API, third-party apps, and all this work. It was just a little bit confusing. They have a cool deployment tool, but essentially, this is what was unclear to me until I stood this up. You have to stand up a server, and then the server creates the nodes, and then you have an install script on the node. So you take each node, including Raspberry Pis are one of the supported nodes. So you create a network of sensors that all come back to your server. And in your server, you can turn this off. They're actually pretty cool. They give you all this tooling, and what they ask you to do, out of politeness, but they do give you the ability to disable it, is they ask you to send some of your threat intelligence data back to them.
From your HP feed. By default, it's enabled, actually.
Yeah, by default, it's enabled. They do have instructions like you just run the script and it turns it off if you don't want to send us data. But what it does is it helps ThreatStream get better visibility to the internet by having more honeypots out there. So my plan is to stand up a few of these, and I'm going to do my own trade. I'm going to ask for people to throw money at like a DigitalOcean server running these honeypots. Just by signing up for DigitalOcean, you can give that'll give credit to my account. This is a whole video and a whole series I'm going to do. But on the other side of it too, I will give access to all the data that I stream from this. And I sent Xavier a cool link where a guy did a word cloud for all the admins and password collections that were tried.
Yep.
There's some people that have yielded some interesting data for this, and because some of the honeypots it has are higher interaction, you can try to see the payload delivering. So it's a good learning opportunity. But in more sensors out there that people don't know are honeypots, those are the ones that are good, because that's the hard part about running honeypots. Like from being a company that's trying to deploy them, like the guys over at ThreatStream, which ThreatStream's owned by, is it Anonymy? They have a weird name. There's a parent company.
Yeah.
That's who reached out to me. It was the parent company. I got to reply to their emails. But when you build sensors, people figure out your networks, and then the hackers go, no, just blacklist everything, all their IP blocks they own and stuff like that, or if they figure out which are the real honeypots. So by more end users deploying more honeypots, you have a better chance of discovery of new threats that are emerging and being able to combat them, because the honeypots are just accepting any commands. So it goes into the whole open source security thing. Because, people don't always think about it this way, but security is a team sport. It really is. We need to share threat intelligence data with each other in better and better ways, because it helps the greater of us. Mm-hmm. You look at like Talos Security pushing out the free snort rules and stuff like that. That helps create defensive rules that we all import into our threat systems to help, mitigate some of these attacks that come at us. So that's where I'm at on a honeypot. I still don't have a movie recommendation, but
Very nice. Very nice.
Movie recommendation. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they have such a vast movie knowledge, and that I don't. I know everyone doesn't like the same genre of movies, but I mean, I guess they want to just keep it tech.
You know what though? I will admit. Let me find the movie name. It was on Netflix. What was it called?
I mean, when you're bored, you can always watch the original Matrix, which is like Johnny Mnemonic.
No, this was I Am Mother. This was a weird movie.
Oh, that scary movie?
It wasn't really scary.
It wasn't really scary, but it's about the two girls that are now like feral.
Yeah, kind of like that. Well, there's more to it than that. It's got a deep twist. Yeah. There's a good twist at the end. Don't watch the trailer. I'm going to say that because the trailer is a little bit too revealing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I mean, but I don't know. It depends on how surprised you want to be. I watched the trailer and I still watched it because there's much, much more to the movie than the trailer. And the trailer has a spoiler a little bit what's going on. But yeah, this was, I like this. It was a good sci-fi. I thought it was a good flick. So that'd be my sci-fi pick, because it's a thought invoking, a thought turning type thing of, what if the robots, what if there's an end somewhat of humanity and some type of AI system takes over? That's kind of the gist of it. And how it takes over and what it's trying to achieve. That's what the mystery is about the movie, and that you kind of figure out. So that was pretty cool. Did you guys get the Discord up? Yeah, post a link to the Discord. I'm not in there enough. I try to be in Discord. I'm bad at Discord. This is why I don't have a Discord for my own YouTube channel.
Yeah. I'll make a.
Yeah, drop a link in there. Matter of fact,
Click and then copy the link.
yeah.
There we go.
Invite people. Yep, copy.
Hold on, I got to set it to boom.
There you go.
And
There's a link getting dropped.
boom.
There we go.
Did you click in there?
Yes, sir.
It did not come up on my side.
It's there, my friend.
Are you logged in as how they got hacked? You may not be able to post links without it.
I'm there. In the
Yeah,
chat.
you post them, but they won't show up. You have to be logged in as how they got hacked, or you can't post a link.
Oh.
But let me look. I think I have the Discord server. Hold
Logged
on.
in is 0 cool.
Hold on, I'm trying to get there.
Just go to just copy the last bit without the HTTPS. And
Yeah.
put a space in between the Discord and GG.
Yep, and that'll work. People-
Oh, okay.
If you're not smart enough to do it, you're not smart enough to be in our channel.
There you go.
Now you guys see it?
There you go.
Hey, there you guys go.
You have to reassemble that code there.
Yeah.
It's your first challenge.
Just take out the 2 spaces.
Take out the 2 spaces. If you can't do it, you can't join.
Wow, that's interesting. They don't let you link spam anymore.
They do not. They,
That's what it is.
yep.
I
they
mean, because people were getting their cookies snatched, session stolen.
Oh,
right
yeah.
after live.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Anything else we got? We still have whiskey left, but at some point.
I will say this. This is what I was gonna say earlier. We're from Detroit. Detroit got ransomware.
The city?
Yeah, fucking long time ago. Back in 2014. Back when Mayor Duggan first started, and we still had Snyder. We got ransomware for one database, and guess how much they wanted for this one database?
How much?
$880,000 for one database, and the city of Detroit didn't pay it.
Aw.
They didn't pay it. They were just like, we're not going to pay for that database. Oh well, whatever. But this is so long before the trend
Yes.
of cities.
See? Detroit's
being
ahead of the curve.
ransomware.
We got ransomware before other people?
I feel like
We're trendsetters here in Detroit.
who's ever doing this has to know about this show. like, come on.
Yeah. Good old Detroit.
Good old Detroit.
See, we got to go the way of the Russians, man. They were talking about one time. There's an article about the KGB going back to typewriters. They're like, ain't ransomwaring us.
This is a secure
start
form
using
of
punch cards.
communication.
Yeah, they're like, try to hack my
Yo,
Logitech typewriter.
Rastaman, bring us some Jamaican rum. We want beef patty. We want jerk chicken made on the ground in
Oh.
a pit. We want all that wildness. I need it.
Good jerk chicken. Have you ever been
Please.
to the jerk pit in Ann Arbor?
No, but I've been to Norma G's on Jefferson.
No. You got to go to the jerk pit in Ann Arbor.
I gotta go.
Got to go. I'll go. We'll take you. I'll buy.
It's a wild way, man. I don't like driving
We'll
out.
roll-
Why they
we'll
don't move to
roll in a
Detroit?
Tesla. We'll roll in a I'll drive.
Oh, hold on, wait. Did you guys know that Tom's getting a Tesla?
A Tesla. A whole Tesla.
A Tesla.
With some proprietary code that I don't know if it'll kill me or the people in
you
front
go.
of me.
We're gonna
So,
find out.
hopefully
Day
you got some
one.
great
We
videos
finding out
coming
day one.
with
We
Tom's
jumping
Tesla.
right out in there.
Of
We
course.
figure, is it gonna kill me or is it gonna kill Tom? But we gonna have a funeral for sure.
Someone's getting a funeral.
And we definitely void the warranty on it.
Well, no, I want to register it as a hacker car. So they actually, that's the best part, is they actually have a program at Tesla to register your car
Okay.
as a hacker car.
Nice.
That's actually something that really impressed me with them, that they care so much about cybersecurity. They don't just go, yeah, if you hack it, we are on HackerOne, which they are. They go a step further, and you can register with them that you plan to hack the car.
Nice.
Because they have a telemetry system, and they just go, cool, we'll just say that telemetry is because you're poking at it. Cool. Like, they're cool with it. The only thing they ask is that you disclose to them. They even commented, this is the cool thing about the Tesla hacker program, they even said if you brick your car, best effort, depending on how bad you broke it, we won't hit you. We'll reload the firmware for you. Like,
wow.
yeah, they're very like upfront about it. Like we want our cars to be secure. Like they came out with a whole program with it, guidelines, and like we want our cars to be secure, so we don't mind. Versus the whole Ford incident with the key fobs.
Yes, yes.
So it's
Fucking Ford.
yeah. But so I can appreciate about the company. I thought that was pretty cool. And I have to drive my kids back and forth to school every day. That's my excuse for buying a Tesla. I don't have a good excuse. I just wanted a fancy car.
There you go. It's hard work, you know?
Hard work?
You work hard.
Hard work.
I'm so cheap, man. I don't like spending money on anything.
You see this studio?
Well, that's not. This makes money.
Exactly.
I got to do
This
tours.
is how you get a Tesla.
This is how you get it. How I got a Tesla? I built a studio.
Exactly. Tom's only been doing YouTube for like 2 years.
Hardcore at it 2 years.
Yeah.
Nice.
April of 2017 is when I built the studio. This studio that we're in.
Yeah. So
It's
like,
and the studio's gone through some revisions, but yeah, and I got over 800 and something videos I've uploaded. So yeah,
like I've been shooting a lot of content. I haven't been able to get it out yet, mostly because like I don't know how to edit, and I don't have people that are just gonna sit there and edit for me. So yeah, it's just like you kind of gotta take your hat off to a person who's able to like put the content out consistently for any period of time, let alone 2 years.
it's a lot of work. It took me a while because technically I registered my account in 2015, but I just didn't really do anything. I sat around. It took me a couple of years to figure out like what I wanted to do. There's like a couple videos uploaded in 2015, but they're scattered. Like there's like the first 2 years from the registration, there's like 10 videos, and there's 800 videos after April of 2017. So there's like a big gap where I didn't do much. So, anyways,
You too can be a YouTube star and get a Tesla.
I should build a password cracking machine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I got a new server. I'll take Xavier. Xavier's inside my network. First thing he did, I got to post that screenshot. I gave Xavier a VM in my network because
Oh, you
First
saw him today?
command.
yeah,
No,
first
he
comma-
didn't see me today.
Oh.
I booted him already.
first thing he did was boot me. So,
Listen, I went to go. I said, okay, cat password, because I'm like, hold on, wait. For one, I want to change the password, and I'm like, Tom has a fucking. I already know Tom has a user on this, so I go cat password. I mean, Etsy password. I'm like, oh, here's his user. I'm like, user delete all files, please.
Yep.
Boom. Tom like immediately screenshots this to me. I'm like, yeah, like how does he even know right now that I'm
watching.
doing
I'm keeping
this?
an eye on things. Well, I also
Were you able to get back in though? You have to have a way.
yeah.
Yeah.
The,
He's got a key because that's what you do.
Yeah, I still
the
have
very
an
first thing you do is you do SSH copy ID
Yep.
or copy key.
Copy key.
Done.
Yeah, I got the copy ID. I also keep it in just the way I do things. I watch a lot of things, and I right away type wall. I see you,
Yeah.
Xavier. I know he had to chuckle when he seen that.
Yep.
I-
and like literally as he hit enter, I hit enter to delete his user.
Yeah.
So it was like I had to scroll back up to go read it. Like, oh, okay. But he did it from root, so that's how I knew
Yeah.
that was like his. If I ever wanted to get back in way.
Yeah.
So we're sharing root right now.
Yeah, we're just sharing root. It's all right.
I mean, it's a virtual machine. It's all love.
Yeah.
I just wanted to play around.
And,
like what's the first thing you do when you get on a system? You want to like just make it yours. You want to own it. You want to own it.
Yeah, you own it, then you customize it, you make nice shells on it. And do you like the little customizations I got on the shell there?
It's
See?
fucking nice as hell.
Yeah,
I
look
need
at I got some Tmux configs. Look at my aliases. I left you some
gotta
stuff.
go do some. I gotta go look through, man. Well, you need to share with me your templates for your VMs because I'm having the damnedest time.
Well, I will just come over to your house
setting
and set them up for you.
ISOs. Yeah, it's. I need one of those huge raids of storage.
All right, we'll work on that.
what
We'll
I
work
only
on
have like 500 gigs of storage in my
that.
server.
We'll have you a lot more.
It's rough.
We actually, do you want some? I have a handful of 3 terabyte drives you can have.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm in
There you
like
go.
raid something. I don't know what raid I'm in. I'm a cloud kid. I literally have all this server stuff at home just so I can learn it.
Oh, someone asked what monitoring software. I actually on this particular VM because it's a clean loaded Debian. I was just watching Xavier.
You're just using top.
I'll just
Or
use-
no.
No, I was watching commands. Just W. Just
Oh.
W and watch. And I had it refreshing to watch as soon as I knew he executed something.
Mm-hmm.
So this was not real advanced. If I do something more advanced, I'm going to load Wazoo or OSEC. That
Yep.
will actually go ahead and break it down.
OSSEC is amazing.
OSSEC's top notch. Dude, I have caused my own worst headaches with OSSEC. So I'm trying to modify a damn database, and I locked myself out. I thought the VM broke. I'm looking at network engineering side, and then I look and see my staff are all in the system. I'm like, oh, wait, OSSEC stopped me from...
Blocked you.
It blocked me from updating a table. I forgot to turn it off. Because it
Whoops.
says, whoa, you're updating a table outside of the normal way you update a table.
Done.
Because I was trying to push a bunch of stuff into one of our databases, and yeah.
Host intrusion detection is fun.
It's neat.
I would say
It's
play with it.
complicated as shit.
Yeah, it's not an easy space, but I would say
No.
play with it if you can.
One of my goals is to really, I want to, because it's something I think is highly important to people. This is one of the reasons I create some of these videos. Just like the honey net, I spent 4 hours learning the entire HoneyNet system, deploying the sensors, deploying the nodes. And this is kind of, if you want to know what my process is for making a video, it's spending 4 hours or more, sometimes way to hell more, on a topic to make a video that's only 40 minutes long.
Right.
Because I got to make it concise, I got to make it understandable, and I have had to have tried all the scenarios that I guessed. And I walk you through that, like you would think you would do this or this or this. And the same thing when I've stood up OSEC and Wazoo, I like it, but I'm not concise enough at it. And when I set them up, all that knowledge I have, I blow it away, I build it from scratch again. Then I set it up, get it working, blow it away, build it from scratch again. I repeat myself on it until I can set it up without thinking about it, because then I do the video. So that's kind of my internal process for developing stuff. But that's also how I learn and get good at these things. Nice. You know, it's not by accident that any one of us sitting at this table have gotten good at the things we're at. It's because we've repetitiously done them over and over. Stood it up. All right, I got it to work. I don't want to just say good, don't touch it. Blow it away, start it over. I got to be able to repeat the process. There's no doubt it's worked. It's one of the reasons sometimes I don't watch movies or watch even TV. I'll go a week without even turning YouTube or nothing on. I'll upload to the YouTube. But every day, it's sitting there for hours and hours and hours, just until I get. If something's in my head, dude, don't ever underestimate my single-mindedness, man. I am a single-minded motherfucker until something's done. It drives my wife nuts. She's like, "Do you hear the kids screaming?" I'm like, "I didn't even know they were here." Like, exactly. They're making noise and like they're beating on pans and make them stop. And I'm like, the script ain't working yet.
I think we all have that problem. I'm trying to pop a box. I'm like, hey, there's other stuff to be done. I'm like, no, I have to pop this box.
You have to.
Anything.
I'm obsessive. Just like, if I get focused on it, I can't stop. So that's the nature of it, though. And I think there's a lot, because when I was a kid, my dad worked a lot, my parents worked a lot, they went around a lot. So I learned how to obsess with things when I was a kid. And I actually think that's an important value my kids have, because they say, oh, they spend too much time doing a thing. I'm like, no, I think that's good. Because the opposite is you watch a kid that just tries 20 things. Oh, I tried and I gave up. I tried and I gave up. I tried and I gave up. In the end, you don't ever accomplish anything, versus that kid that was just so hyper-focused until he, out there. My friend's actually a professional BMX. And the way he got in a magazine is funny, because I heard his dad tell the story. He's like, he broke 3 ribs in one day and wouldn't stop until he got the trick right, with broken ribs, bloody nose, coming out, heavy breathing, like until he got the trick. Once he got the trick, he's like, Dad, I got to go to the hospital now. He didn't disclose how bad his injuries were until he's like, I think I go to the hospital. He's like, you've been out there all day. But that's what it takes sometimes, You just got to keep pushing it. Yep. All right. You guys keep pushing it. I'm going to have...
That's the advice for this week. Keep pushing it.
Keep pushing it.
In honor of keeping pushing it, I am about to push the live button. See you guys next week.
See you next week.
Same place, same time, usual place.
We'll probably be back on Friday. I don't see any reason not to do Friday next week.
Friday.
Bring your
Friday. Also, before I click the button, anybody that's going to DEF CON, hit me up on Keybase, Xavier D. Johnson. Hit me up on Discord. The link's inside of the thing. Let's party. And that's it for now. Peace.